Yo, YouTube, it's your boy Joe. Back here today. We have a cop, whatever you want to say it is. Yeah, I can just tell you I've been liking these videos. Keep it going. We're gonna do some more reactions, more plays, channel, thing like that. Let's just go ahead and get into the video.
Taking care of him. They're doing what they gotta do with him. All right.
Tyler's not alive? No.
That's about. Did something, huh, chat? Acting out already.
This is the moment Brittney Holbrook learns her
She got body. She got body. She got body to see. Body to see.
boyfriend is dead. But what she doesn't realize is that within hours, investigators will start picking apart her story piece by piece.
I'm not a murderer. I would never kill him. I love him so much.
I heard a scream. You heard a scream?
He not falling for that bullshit. Like, he like already caught, cooked. You know what I mean?
I love him so much.
I heard a scream. You heard a scream? I didn't see it. I don't know what happened, but I heard him say that bitch shot me in the back.
In the early hours of June 17th, 2023, at around 3 a.m.
Are these videos coming out now? It's in 2023. It's 2026. Why is it coming out now?
Deputies from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office respond to a disturbing 911 call made by 44-year-old Jordan Kinn to report a shooting at his house in Big Coppitt Key, Florida. As the officer
And why is it in Florida, bro? I stay in Florida. Or do I, chat? Or do I?
paramedics worked to stabilize him for transport, another deputy stepped outside.
I don't know what happened, but
A.M. Deputy in Big Coppitt Key,
Or do I, chat? Or do I?
Florida. As the officer arrived at the scene, nothing could have prepared her for what was waiting for her behind the door.
The sheriff's office.
I'm still trying to print it out.
In front of her lay 29-year-old Tyler Newlich, bleeding out on the kitchen floor, struggling for his life. Beside him sat his hysterical girlfriend, Brittney, trembling as she pressed her hands over his wound, desperate to keep him alive. He had been shot, and from the location of the wound, officers quickly realized that this wasn't self-inflicted. This was attempted murder. Inside the house, there were no
Crime
signs
scene
of forced
tape?
entry.
Yes.
Even the dogs were calm. To detectives, that detail said more than any broken lock ever could. Whoever did this wasn't a stranger. They were someone Tyler trusted. But who could commit such a harrowing act against someone they knew? A search of the scene revealed one of the case's most critical pieces of evidence: the firearm used to shoot Tyler.
Keep up with doing it.
I was waiting to make sure somebody else was here.
This
first.
Florida.
Now it's not. Yeah, there is one missing from the magazine.
This missing bullet and the
My
firearm
God.
made the officers realize that this was a planned shooting, one carried out with intent, not impulse. But the motive behind this brutal shooting will turn out to be far darker than anything they find at the scene. For now, their priority was keeping Tyler alive. If he didn't make it, the case would shift from an assault to a homicide. As paramedics worked to stabilize him for transport, another deputy stepped outside to speak with the original 911 caller, Tyler's roommate, Jordan, who walked the officer through the night, explaining how he'd rushed over after hearing Brittney scream.
It's probably like 3 minutes before I called 911. I heard a scream and her walking down the hallway and say Jordan, my name. And they got up out of bed. I'd been asleep maybe 2 hours, but knew something was wrong. I came out in the living room and saw Tyler was.
You can hear it in his voice. He's scared right now. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
He know what's going on, but
Whatnot, but I know if it was gun, I would have heard it. Like, I don't know what exactly how it happened.
Who owns that gun?
I don't, one of those, I'm pretty sure Tyler.
You pretty sure he does?
Yes. I know he usually always has. I had the TV on quite quietly. I'm half asleep, but I think I would have heard something unusual.
Yeah.
I'm a fisherman and live on a boat half the year. I'm used to weird noises.
Since he arrived after the gunshot was fired, officers turned their attention to Brittney, the only person who had been there before him. They needed to know if she'd seen anything that could help them understand what really happened that night.
You don't know?
I went to sleep. I don't know.
Why don't you go take a seat over there?
That fake crying not gonna work. I know y'all heard it. I don't know. Like, it's not gonna work with me. Arrest her, bro. I already know you did it. That fake crying ain't gonna work with me.
I went to sleep.
Hear it now?
You went to sleep?
Oh my
Okay, and then you woke up?
I woke up.
The officer knows she's capping too, bro. Get her out of here, bro.
Okay, and what did you see? This? Just him laying on the floor? Bleeding?
You don't believe none of that she just
Clearly
said.
distressed, Brittney struggled to recall what had happened that night. But something about her behavior gave the officer an uneasy feeling, as if she was holding something back. Before the officer could press her further, a call came in from the hospital. Tyler had succumbed.
Who this? Get the facing up. You feel me?
To his injuries. From that moment, the case shifts. What began as an assault is now a cold-blooded murder investigation, with only 2 people present at the scene. Brittney and Jordan both became prime suspects. Without wasting another second, detectives began their interrogation with Jordan, unaware that Tyler had already left behind the clue that would solve his case. After reading him his rights, detectives began questioning Jordan about the day of this heinous.
Last night, were they downstairs already?
Yeah. Yep.
And they were already drinking?
She was, he wasn't.
Y'all hear me?
How was the mood when you
Great.
walked in?
It was great. Everybody was getting along fine. I felt like it was a normal good night, you know?
And you were downstairs drinking until what time about?
I'd say around 10:30ish was my guess. And I went and watched a couple episodes of TV, and I was pretty well asleep when I heard her screaming, and she's the one who woke me up.
It's only after Jordan goes to bed that the sound of Brittney's scream pulls him from his room.
I can't sit here and lie and say Brittney not. Brittney's so fine. Brittney is out. Got the thighs. She got ass.
And it's then
Just
that
on.
Tyler tells him what really happened.
I saw a pistol. I don't even know what happened. I just saw a lot of them. But I did see a gun sitting there in a holster, which I'm pretty sure was hers. I never heard the shot. If that's what happened, I didn't get woken up by that. I got woken up by her yelling, and instantly I tried to look at him in the face, and that's when I called 911. I didn't know what happened to him. The little bit I got out of him, I didn't see it. I don't know what happened, but I heard him say that bitch shot me in the back. Mumbled it.
Moreover, Jordan recalls a
You
fight
heard it, but he
between
mumbled it?
Brittney and Tyler,
Okay.
one that turned unusually aggressive, ending with phones being slammed against the walls. He quickly assures detectives that it only happened once, and it wasn't anything serious. After finishing the interview, detectives rule him out as a suspect. His timeline checks out, and there's no sign of a motive to harm Tyler. Still, his account leaves them with one clear direction. They start with the only other person inside that house when Tyler was shot, his girlfriend, Brittney Holbrook. As detectives sit down to question her, they have no idea that by the end of it, they'll uncover a truth far darker than anyone imagined.
Sorry, I have to play this, but I was asking. we're all here. Okay?
Tyler's not alive.
Whoever handwriting that is terrible. That's terrible handwriting.
Oh, where did you guys meet?
Terrible.
We were roommates.
Roommates?
I know y'all seen it. Things supposed to happen. Y'all have to run. He's not running. He instead. Sure. Going for the blick. I'm gonna just stop talking.
You guys met when you were roommates, or you're still roommates right now?
We met when we were roommates.
What do you do for work?
I manage a paddle hut, like paddleboard, kayak, rental location out of the capital.
As the conversation goes on, detectives ease into small talk, all
Okay.
part of building rapport before getting to what really matters. But soon, their questions shift toward the night of the shooting, hoping to see if her story lines up with Jordan's.
What time did you get home from work?
Let's see, I went to the grocery store and I went to Walgreens, so maybe like 5:30.
When you got home, who else was home?
Tyler got home like about 5 minutes after I did.
Okay.
That right there, you just told on herself, buddy. God.
You guys were all just hanging out upstairs?
So, Tyler and I, when we got home, did that for a while. Upstairs.
Okay. And Jordan was hanging out with you guys too?
Eventually.
You guys hanging out? Were you guys drinking? How much you guys normally drink?
Not a lot actually.
That's kind of normal for you guys? How much do you think you drank last night?
A lot.
Like 5 or 6 beers?
I don't drink a
like
lot.
2 bottles of rum? I don't know if it's a lot.
A lot. Like, I don't know. I drank probably 4 seltzers, and then Tyler and Jordan went to the store and came back with beers, and so I can't tell you how many of those I had, really. I don't know, because they were kind of all on the table, and then I threw them all in the box. So.
When you guys were drinking,
Scribbles on
down
that
here
paper.
or upstairs
Maybe
in the living
paying
room?
attention to the scenery. Look at that paper. Oh my God.
Brittney continues walking the detective through her night. According to her, the three of them hung out until around midnight before she finally went to bed, with Tyler and Jordan following soon after.
What's the next thing that you remember?
Holding Tyler.
What?
Holding Tyler.
Holding Tyler? Where were you at?
Kitchen.
Do you remember how you got to the kitchen?
Walking?
So you laid down in bed with you, Tyler, and the dogs, and then the next thing that you remember, you're in the kitchen. Okay. And where was Tyler?
Lying
Down. Remember how he was laying?
I was holding him.
Where was he bleeding from?
What?
What was he saying?
Nothing.
Was he conscious? Did you see him still there?
The detective slowly steers the conversation toward Tyler's murder,
He
pressing
good,
gently
he
at
good.
first, trying to confirm his final words.
Did he mention anything?
Tyler?
Make any statements to anybody? Did you walk away from Tyler at any point before the police showed up? Or were you holding on to him the whole time?
But Brittney insists she didn't hear anything. Each denial only widens the gaps in her story, and the detective can tell she's holding something back. So he changes tactics, using a bit of psychological pressure, a small trick meant to unsettle her and see
he
how
must
she
be
reacts.
goated.
Has there ever been any history of domestic violence between you guys?
said, we've had our like fights. And
Fights like arguing, yelling, and screaming back and forth.
I mean, that's the big stuff.
Are there any punches, pushes? No, nothing physical.
Next, he brings up Jordan's statement, confronting Brittney directly to see if she'll finally break.
Jordan is saying that he remembers Tyler was on the ground, you were behind him. Tyler made the statement, call 911, just shot me. Remember that? Is there any reason why you might have said that?
It's good. I don't even have to say. Good.
You think that's something that's possible?
But she doesn't. Instead, Brittney doubles down, insisting that she loved Tyler and that she could never hurt him.
Would you be willing to consent to us taking a swab of your hands?
I don't.
A gun
I
toward
have
him.
blood all over my hands.
Just say that you had a gun to him, bro.
I have Tyler's blood all over me.
The turning point comes when detectives ask Brittney for her fingerprints. The moment they bring it up, her demeanor changes. She looks anxious, deflects the question, and insists her prints will not show up because she has Tyler's blood on her. But to detectives, it sounds like fear of being caught, so they decide to leave her alone for a while, hoping the silence might do what their questions couldn't. And it does. When they come back, Brittney finally starts talking, only this isn't the confession they were expecting. It's something darker, a twisted version of events that leaves the detectives with
What?
more questions than answers.
I have no idea. I don't know. I just know that I remember not being able to breathe, and
Okay.
he was like crushing my esophagus,
Alright, and where was he?
like on his side of the bed, but like up. And I remember just screaming really loud, and he just kept doing it. He did it more than once, and like I tried to get away and go out the room, and he followed me and pinned me up against that wall
Which wall is this?
in my bedroom.
As she talks, Brittney shifts the focus away from the shooting and starts talking about her past, mentioning how her father once choked her, a detail she uses to portray herself as the victim, someone who only acted out of fear and self-defense.
And like my dad did this to me when I was little, and I think it made me freak out a little bit, and probably I started swinging, I don't know, but he held me up by my throat.
You say held you up like off the ground?
Yeah, like
Okay.
I don't know why. I don't know why. We had everything.
How did you escape?
I don't.
Don't start this fake crying again, bro. Lock in, Brittney.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. It seems like you're describing a relatively violent encounter there.
Get her out of here.
Were-
Pack her up.
Was there a fight at that point, or were you throwing punches and scratches? I mean, if someone's strangling me,
Yeah.
I'm fighting as hard as I can to get away from that, right?
Yeah, I did, because he pinned me up against the wall. Dad did that to me when I was young, and it's fucking gave me PTSD, and I split his eyebrow. Like, just, what are you gonna do? It was the same thing for me. It brought me back to my childhood, and I lost my mind. I'm sure I was swinging and scratching or whatever the fuck.
Still trying to fill the gaps in her story, detectives realize they have no choice but to make Brittney believe they're on her side. After all, besides Jordan, she's the only witness and the last person Tyler ever saw alive. So they play along, pretending to trust her version of events
My fault, ma.
and use the moment to quietly turn up the pressure.
I mean, if you're at the point where you're fighting to survive, anything goes.
It was like fine, like I didn't even have any arguments. I think he got up and used the restroom and then came back and then was like a different person. Because we were cuddling and really comfortable.
It's about to
going together
crush.
and like loving each other like normal. And came back from the restroom and fucking I don't even know. Said something and I was like, what? And he just snapped.
Well, at that point, it's perfectly understandable. Someone reaches over their nightstand and grabs that self-defense gun that they have.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I'm not a murderer. You're a monster. I never kill him. I love him so much.
Well, it seems at this point you're trying to describe protecting yourself.
I don't know. I wish I knew.
Okay. I'm trying to put together what happened so that we can get a full story of how you got away from him, and that we can tell everybody else that this is not what she was planning on doing. She wasn't sitting there all night plotting this. If it's you versus him, if it was him versus me in that situation, I know what I'm doing. Especially if that gun is right there on the nightstand. I'm surviving.
I don't know what happened. I could like make up a
She about to piss me
story
off.
that I
Take
feel
her
like
already.
I would go out of the room to get away from him. What happened after that? I don't know. I don't even remember leaving the room. Really.
She isn't remorseful or afraid of what she's done. Brittney tries to explain away her inconsistent story, blaming her blurred memory on being drunk that night. But with
She
no
can get it.
clear account of what really happened and too many gaps to ignore, detectives have no choice but to place her under arrest on suspicion of murder. At first, Brittney probably thought that saying less would help keep her out of trouble. But in reality, her silence only gave investigators more room to work with and more angles to uncover the truth she left behind. Since her version of events ended with a vague claim of self-defense, detectives had to widen their scope. They began reaching out to people close to the couple, hoping someone could shed light on what Brittney was hiding. As
Okay.
investigators started interviewing them one by one, a darker picture of Brittney Holbrook began to emerge, one that revealed she wasn't the person she made herself out to be. Almost everyone mentions Brittney's dangerous relationship with alcohol, how it often turned her aggressive and sometimes even violent toward Tyler. One story in particular stood out to the detective, an incident at a
Why he
friend's birthday
stayed then?
party where everyone saw the drunk side of Brittney.
I do know that they were having issues that week, about her drinking. We all thought, because her ex-boyfriend before Tyler, he drinks. So we thought that he brought out the worst in Brittney from drinking, but it was really just her drinking in general that brought out the worst in her. And I don't know if that helps at all, or if that explains her a little bit better, or what the case is with that. But
Could you tell me a little bit more about this when you came down in February and you all ended up with blood on your shirts?
that was a very strange situation.
That night, aside from the birthday celebration, Tyler's friends had organized a small get-together meant to reunite him with an old friend and former roommate who also happened to be Brittney's ex-boyfriend. The
Dang.
goal was simple, to help them put the past behind and finally move on. And for a while, everything seemed to be going according to plan, until Brittney walked in.
They walk in when Brittney sees Jaffe. She had a blank look on her face. Tyler sees Jaffe. He's smiling. Jaffe's smiling. I was right there. They hugged each other. And it was kind of awesome that, that they were going to be friends again. You know what I mean? They could let this go past them.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't Brittney's plan. Brittney was hoping that there was going to be some sort of scuffle or drama involved in this situation. And she got mad at Tyler for not doing anything about Jaffe being there. And Tyler obviously was like, what are you talking about? When this was neutral. And I told you that we were coming down here and it was all going to be all right. And I never saw this side of Brittney. After they heard what happened, they were all like, we kind of aren't surprised by this situation because she was so nuts that night. But over at American Rock Bar, she was like scratching and slapping Tyler, and everybody felt very uncomfortable about the situation. Later on in the night, they're like, Phil, you have blood on your shirt. And then I guess Tyler had the blood on his shirt. And my other buddy Eric, they said had the blood on his shirt too. And then they were making a joke and they were calling her a witch, like, oh, the witch, she put blood on your guys' shirt. We didn't think anything of it. You know what I mean? I didn't, at least. But now we're kind of, you know, as we talk about it more, we're like, wow, you know, like that 100% could have been her doing that.
But for Tyler, the night was far from over.
She broke a bunch of stuff in the house. She wrecked that.
Pack her up with this conversation. Pack her up now. My God, this bitch is evil.
You're a monster.
Oh my God.
House, and she beat Tyler up pretty bad that night. There's quite a few stories about her attacking him, and she was an attacker, and clearly that night, you know, of the blood being, you know, in Tyler's bed and the broken beer bottle, and not only one broken beer bottle, that room was full of broken glass when everybody had to go clean it up.
What?
That's when everybody knew that there seriously was a problem going on.
This wasn't the first time Brittney had gotten drunk and turned violent toward Tyler. In fact, friends recalled multiple incidents, including one at a wedding where she lashed out at him in front of everyone.
Yeah, I've heard about this wedding. It's popped up a couple of times. What can you tell me about what went on there?
After, you know, the rehearsal dinner, everything was good. We had dinner. You know, they start drinking a little bit. She's really, like, belligerent. And we were all sitting by the pool having a good time. It was really, like, the first time I actually got to meet her and, like, you know, talk to her. And she was so drunk. Her dad has, like, some hunting property and stuff up there. And I could have sworn she told me that, oh, my dad's selling the property. And my buddy, like, a week or two before, he was all excited to go hunting. My buddy meaning Tyler, sorry.
Uh-huh.
And, you know, I misunderstood her. Anyways, I'm driving them home because I, you know, didn't drink at all. And we had to drive back to his house. And I was talking to him in the front seat. She's passed out in the back seat. And I said, oh, Tyler, that sucks. You know, her dad's selling the property. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, I was talking to her at the pool. She said her dad's selling the property. And he says, he reaches in the back seat and says, hey, babe, is your dad selling the property? And without hesitation, she throws a fucking left-hand hook and punches him in the face. She says, don't ever fucking talk about my dad. And she... And he says, he reach and she says, now we're going 55 miles an hour.
Pack her up, bro. There's nothing else to say. Pack her up. A strong left? Want to talk about my dad? Property? Pack her up now.
And she's throwing hooks. I thought she was going to punch me. Like, Jesus Christ.
But during the investigation, one name stood out. Marissa, the girlfriend of one of Tyler's close friends. She
about to clock it.
seen a side of Brittney that went far beyond drunken outbursts, a side that hinted at something much more horrific.
So we were at Hogfish and she was talking about
Hogfest.
her ex-boyfriend.
Why is she talking about her ex, bro? Getting bad.
Which is a guy that I know. It was Chris Jaffe. She was talking about him, and very aggressively and very angrily, and talking about their relationship, how much she hated him, how,
okay.
You know, she like wanted to kill him. And saying all this crazy stuff.
Stuff about Chris. What kind of crazy things was she saying?
She said that you know, they would get in physical fights and that they would grab each other's eyeballs. And she showed me like with her thumb and her fingers on her face, like the eyeball squeezing. She said that she told me she had stabbed him one time, And I was like, you stabbed him, or like you wanted to stab him? And she was like, oh no. She's like, and next time I'll stab him. She said that she would do it like, you know, she was doing the stabbing, like with her arm. Well, this was at Hogfish Bar. She was doing like the jabbing, stabbing motion, and she was like, and I would go, you know, like in I would go all the way up, like to his neck, is what she said. I'm trying to think of the exact words, but she was gonna, you know, she's like, I'd go all the way up and like kill him. And I just remember thinking, you're being so psychotic and aggressive about this. You haven't even dated him in over a year.
Her account was later backed up by several of Tyler's friends, each confirming her fantasy of killing her ex-boyfriend.
I know that Marissa went to dinner a few nights before this happened, or out for drinks with Brittney. And that's where there was a conversation about her wanting to do weird, gruesome stuff to Chris Jaffe, her ex-boyfriend, which Marissa found disturbing and kind of ended, I guess, called Tyler and asked them to come pick them up as she was uncomfortable.
It didn't take long for investigators to realize that what his friends described may have been exactly what happened that night. Only this time, it went too far. Around the same time, the autopsy results came in, confirming their worst suspicions. Tyler's body showed clear signs of prolonged physical abuse, multiple injuries to his head and neck, the kind that pointed to a violent struggle, not self-defense. And the contrast was telling. Brittney had no defensive wounds, not even around her neck, just bruising on her knuckles, consistent with someone who had been throwing punches, not blocking them. To detectives, it was no longer a question of what happened. It was a matter of proving that Brittney Holbrook had finally done what everyone feared she was capable of. In the end, Brittney's charge was upgraded from suspicion of murder to second-degree murder with...
Thank you, pack her up. Kind of her ass. If you like this video, I want you to like, comment, and subscribe. You dig? Dre out.